There are a lot of marketing scams out here, and supplements are being sold to you in a scam-like way. So we're going to cover some of those things. These are actually supplements that I use. Some of them I have a discount for, and I might even recommend. Roll the intro.
225, 225, 225, 25, 25, 225, 225, 225.
What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of That Guy Health, and today we are talking about supplements. So before we even get into this, I want to be very clear. I do have a discount code for Core Nutritionals because I am a Core Nutritionals ambassador. It is a quality supplement company. Therefore, I still am going to be honest about what I'm about to tell you, whether you do or don't need these supplements. But below is the discount code, discount link. Like I said, very reputable company, very solid supplements. I've utilized these supplements in and outside of my cuts for getting ready for competition. But today is more about supplements and even these core-like supplements that can be sold to you in a scam-like way. And I'm not saying per se Core is selling to you in that way, because if you go to their website, they have a full list of full science or the basic science, and they'll list to you all their ingredients and what these ingredients actually do. But as a broad in a market, these specific and some other supplements are being sold in a way that is not really true to what they are going to yield to you as far as results. I know because I've used them, and I know because I haven't used them, and I've, quite frankly, been just fine. So let's go ahead and go over one of the most prominently sold, prominently looked after, especially for those that are overweight or trying to get in shape, the fat burner. Okay, the fat burner is highly scam-like marketed to you all, and I use it. I have used it. Okay, I don't use it currently, but let me tell you, it is not going to do what some of these companies say that it's going to do. They're going to tell you, you get this, you're going to drop fat, you're going to lose body fat percentage, la da 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 da. Listen, it doesn't quite work that way. First of all, it's going to be about nutrition. And if you do need help with nutrition, or you need a health coach, fitness coach, I am a certified personal trainer and fitness nutrition specialist. I do have a fitness app, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world. We still have conferences. I can help you with all of that. And I'm going to tell you that this is not going to help you if your nutrition is not already correct. Okay. At all. At all. You can keep eating jacked up, take these every day for the recommended dosage, and I doubt you'll see any difference, especially if you don't increase your level of activity. You're not in a proper caloric deficit. You're not going to see this. So taking this, you need to already be in a situation where it is optimal for this to give you a little bit of the edge. Now, where this fat burner does really come in handy is acting as an appetite suppressant. That's really what a lot of that comes into play, is the appetite suppressant part, because you got to think about it. If you're not as hungry, you won't be craving as much. You won't be more likely to eat outside of your protocol if you have one. So therefore, you'll stick to your deficit if you're in a correct deficit a lot better, not having those hunger cravings and always being hungry. So that's a key element that comes into this, is appetite suppressant additive. Okay. The next thing that's going to come into play is the fact that it has an attribute to, in hopes, control your cortisol levels. Cortisol levels raise when we get stressed. When all types of situations. And what happens when cortisol levels raise? We're likely to have water retention. We're likely to want to trigger things in the brain that will cause you to want to have cravings, to eat, to intake sweets. All of these stress levels come up, which really work against us. So I would say the two main things about a fat burner would be, hopefully, if yours has a cortisol level type situation where it can help control those levels, which Core does in several of their brands in their fat burner or weight management lines. And then the appetite suppressant. Everything else, as far as like you taking these and just dropping the obscene amount of fat and body fat percentages just going low, is likely not to happen without other things being in play. And if you were already doing those other things, you could continue without this and probably see the same results. Like the change would be so minimal, you probably would not notice it. Aside from you being hungry all the time, which works, and the cortisol levels, which if you got your blood work and all that stuff done, maybe you would see. So that is the fat burner. Okay, we're done with that. Definitely has its place. but you can definitely do without it. The next one that I know, I mean, what we've seen Frank Thomas, we've seen Doug Flutie, we've seen these people on these commercials, nitrogen, what is it, Nutrigen, Shannon Sharp does that one, and you got Frank Thomas and then with Nugenics, and listen, and you have core with a test, okay? The test supplements also have their place, and I do think very minimal to none in the aspect of what you're thinking. People tell you, okay, you get on test, you're going to get increased muscle growth. You're going to see, like, get this cut in definition. I've still seen definition in my build season without taking any type of test supplement than I have when I was taking a test supplement. And I will also tell you, I only really start initiating or implementing test supplement, core tests, into my program when I start getting into cut, which is when I am in an extreme deficit or when my energy levels are running low. I will take it then more so for the libido effect. Because if you're not familiar, if you've never been in cut, your body doesn't care about your goals or your plans, okay? So when you start dropping like energy reserves, you're not taking in as much food to create that energy, your body's going through a natural process to say, okay, we don't have energy to reproduce, so shut the sex drive organs down because we don't want him to be trying to have sex or reproduce because we're trying to manage energy to walk around, to talk, to think, to breathe, to pump blood. So your body goes through these natural things that's shutting stuff down, and it happens when you go into extreme deficits or cuts. So the test supplement, I'll take that for the libido effect. I'll take it for a little bit of energy, and maybe, just maybe, it might help my testosterone levels not drop low. Now, I've had my blood work done. When I'm in cut, I get blood work done to see where those test levels are, and I can tell you every time I've been in cut, they've dropped. Now, what would they have been if I wasn't taking a test? I still think they would be dropping significantly. And when I come back up into the build season where I'm eating, where I have an increased amount of calories, where I have a little bit more increase of fat, definitely increase in carbohydrates, my testosterone levels come up. Okay, so I don't think you need this, but it does also have its place, supplying a little bit more energy for the libido effect, and maybe there might be a small percentage in there it might help your body naturally, because this is the difference between test boosters and exogenous type testosterone injections, okay? Now, when you do the test injections, those are likely to show you results in the ways that these are marketed that they don't. All right. But you have to decide if that's a pathway that you actually want to take. Do you actually want to start injecting testosterone? Because there are pros and cons that come with that, just as if there are pros and cons that come with these. But these are way, I would say, a lot less likely to impact you physically than taking testosterone injections. You have to weigh those options. I have weighed those options. I did not take tests. I've weighed the options of taking steroids because I wanted to compete at a higher level. I chose not to. You have to decide what's right for you. You have to decide on the consequences that come with those choices. So with this being said, I don't think you need tests if you're in a natural environment, if you're just building to try to be healthy. Like I think there are ways for you to incorporate food that will give you energy levels that will hopefully put your body in a situation to naturally produce or raise those testosterone levels. If you need to, get blood work done so you can see it. I've got blood work done when I'm in cut, my test levels are low. I got blood work done when I came out of my competition season. Even this year, my test levels went up. As we get older, our test levels tend to drop anyway. So consult your physician if maybe hormonal therapy might be right for you. You know, you might need to see if you might need to get on some type of test levels to get test therapy in order to help you raise those levels. So talk to your doctor about it, get your blood work done, but I'm pretty much going to guarantee you this is not your answer if you're not in those situations. Creatine. Out of all of these, I would say that this one may be the most researched, studied supplement of any supplement line or any supplement period. Okay, creatine is like highly controversial, highly studied. I can tell you for what creatine is supposed to do, it does. All right. For how creatine is marketed to do, not really. Okay, so a lot of people are gonna tell, oh yeah, you want to increase your size, man, start pumping creatine. It's not in context. All right, you're thinking about extreme muscle growth. Not the case. You will see muscle fullness, But you'll see that because creatine has a side effect. I'll call it a side effect of water retention. It's going to pull water into the muscle, hydrate the muscle with water, and for a good reason, in which lends you to perform better, because also creatine will help the production or increased amounts of ATP. And if you don't know, ATP is that muscle energy reserve that you decrease when you start repetitions and exercise. Like, when you start burning out, you get tired. That's because your ATP levels drop. Well, creatine is there to help those ATP levels kick up. So therefore, you should, in theory, be able to work out in that set longer or harder, okay, to push yourself harder with that amount of energy built up in ATP, and especially with the muscles being more hydrated with water. That really is what correlates to hopefully you having bigger and better gains, is the fact that you can push harder in the workout, you don't fatigue as fast in the sets, you have an increased amount of ATP, and the muscles are hydrated. That right there is an element that'll help you physically perform better, and hopefully while performing better, you can work out harder in order to break that muscle down and then build it up. So also with breaking that muscle down and building it up, what also needs to be correct, or what also needs to be up? Your protein levels. Because if MPS kicks in and you don't have enough protein in your body to repair these muscle fibers that you've broken down, then you're being counterproductive. Everything needs to be set up correctly in order for any of these things to take place, even if they are going to take place. Okay, so you definitely need to be sure that your entire stack, okay, is correct. Even if your stack includes regular eating, your protein intake needs to be at the levels it needs to be in order for you to properly function and rebuild those muscle fibers, which is usually 0.8 to a gram per pound of body weight is about the rule of thumb of where you want to be, okay? Now, it gets a little different when you start getting into cut and you're cutting back on the carbs, and then you're going to raise your protein levels because you want to ward off muscle degradation. That's something else. But creatine definitely is a supplement that does those things, can help you out in performance, but do not take creatine looking for increased muscle growth like some magic powder. That's not going to happen, but it is very useful in that way. Now, I have noticed when I take creatine, that my levels can be up if my food is not up. Like I said, once again, while I'm in cut. Now, this season, I totally went off creatine. Like, I haven't been on creatine for probably a year. And this last competition season, going to Cleveland and Columbus, I didn't take any creatine at all, period. So you can do without it. Now, I do notice that what I started doing is definitely properly implementing carbs in my nutrition, my frequency of eating, and post-workout meals. And I've noticed that my energy levels, I haven't done pre-workout in probably 2 to 3 years. And I've noticed that my energy levels are just fine when I go into the workout. Now, if I'm hungry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to carb up a little bit. Maybe I'm going to eat a handful of craisins, or maybe I might even get freaky with it and have a half-pound cookie, something like that. Get me in the workout. I'm pumped. My vascularity kicks up. Now, I know a lot of you like the pump additives, but if I eat a half-pound cookie and I carb up right, my vascularity is on fleek. My reps are on fleek. So there are ways to do it without supplement. But anyway, creatine, definitely, I would say out of all of these that we've covered so far, excluding these, definitely something that I believe how the science is built around it does work in that way. Now, let's get to something that definitely is highly sold in a scam-like manner, combating these two against each other. EAAs and BCAAs, okay? Branch chain amino acids and essential amino acids. I've already done a video going through using data from an actual scientific research. Oh, damn, I forgot my boiled eggs. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I forgot I put my boiled eggs on the stove, and said, let me make this video because I'm so tired of seeing these commercialized scam. Okay, anyway, I'm back. That's real life shit. It happens. So EAAs and BCAAs pitted against each other in the market, and translating through the market to us as a client base. And you will see in the gym, if you've ever heard this convert, oh, BCAAs are better than EAAs. EAAs are way far better than BCAAs. Listen, like I said, I linked the video. I go through an entire scientific study that was actually done, citing the work, showing you what they said, showing you the outcome. Regardless, Okay, regardless, BCAAs are the 3 amino acids that are critical to initiating and triggering muscle protein synthesis for mTOR, okay? Period. Period. Those 3 are key to triggering mTOR, which creates muscle protein synthesis, which is going to get the muscle to repair itself in a much faster, elevated state. So the faster that you can recover, the more you can pressure that muscle, break it down again to build it up to, in theory. So if I could only break my muscle down once a week, right? Not having these branched chain amino acids, then that once a week is like, okay, I got it, right? Once a week. But if I take branched chain of BCAAs or EAAs, and I can now break down my muscle 3 times a week and get the repair I need in order to keep putting the pressure on that muscle, well, therefore, in theory, I'm going to build more muscle over that week's time than you would in that 1 week time, only being able to break down once and repair itself. So what's the kicker? Do you not know that their essential amino acids have branched chain aminos? It's included in the essential amino acid profile. BCAAs have just, what they've done is extracted all the essential amino acids and just pushed the branched chain amino acids in there. So guess what? In hindsight 2020, does it really matter as long as you have the 3 key ingredients, which is isoleucine, leucine, and valine? You need those 3 to do what we need to do. This is where you need to be aware of. The golden key standard is a 2-to-1 ratio, okay? 2-to-1 ratio. For every 2 parts leucine, you need 1 part of isoleucine and valine. This is what you need to pay attention to, specifically with these 2, and I'm going to show you. So on the EAAs, you see right here, and I'll put this up on the screen. They have their, what they call our anabolic branched chain amino and EA matrix. But right here, they show you just alone their branched chain amino breakdown. They say leucine, isoleucine, and valine, right? They don't give you the breakdown of those 2, but I know how to break this down. So they're telling you 6,000 milligrams. Well, if we know for every 2 parts leucine, we need 1 part isoleucine and valine, we can pretty much guarantee, if this is a real 2-to-1 mix, that there's going to be 3 grams of leucine and then 1.5 grams of isoleucine, 1.5 grams of valine, okay? Giving you the 6,000 milligram profile together. Okay, so now let's look at this one. We're not worried about the essential amino acids right now. Let's look at cores. They're going to give you 5 grams of leucine. Now we know we need 1. We need to have that extra. For every 2, there's 1 part of isoleucine and valine. They give you 2.5 grams of isoleucine and 2.5 grams of valine. So if we take these and add them all up, we're looking at 10,000 milligrams total of a branched chain amino acid makeup. That's 4,000 more milligrams than this one. That's what you really need to look for when you're deciding about branched chain amino or essential amino acid. What is the branched chain amino acid in either of these? What's the level of that? That's what you need to get. The more you can get in that 2-to-1 ratio, because a 2-to-1 ratio is a 2-to-1 ratio. So if they gave us 2 grams of leucine and 0.5 grams of isoleucine and then 0.5 grams of 1 gram of isoleucine and 1 gram of valine, that's like all together we're looking at 4,000. That's not in comparison to these 2. You're sitting on the low end of the pool. That's the most important thing you need to be worried about. Now, essential amino acids, this is where a lot of controversy comes in when people don't know. These are the amino acids that can be intaken or developed naturally, okay? Through food and meats and all this other stuff, the body can produce or intake essential amino acids. The branched chain amino acids are not naturally produced, okay? You have to intake those. That's another key thing that you need to know. So it doesn't matter if you want BCAAs or EAAs, because there are branched chain amino acids in EAAs. You just need to make sure that your level of branched chain amino acid makeup is at the level that you need to clinically dose. Now, supposedly Core Nutritional makes sure that they try to get as close to clinically dosed or over in majority of their supplement line, which is why I do like them, okay? As you see right here, this branched-chain amino acid profile was 6,000 milligrams. Basically, you could just say 6 grams. This one is 10 grams. 4 more grams, to me, I'm going to go for it, all right? And you need to think about price on how much you want to spend on any of this stuff as it goes. So as far as taking branched-chain amino acids and just like getting straight muscle pound, none of that shit's going to happen with any of these. None of that. They will hopefully put your body in a good state along with your eating, along with your workout, along with you staying hydrated, because you definitely need to stay hydrated when it comes to creatine, okay? That's one thing. Now, as far as the whole controversy of kidney failures, do your research. I don't think it's as critical as people make it out to be, but at any point in time, if you're dehydrated and you stay dehydrated and you're not giving your body proper hydration, you're going to have kidney problems anyway. Your kidneys are going to hurt. I mean, did you think about that? So definitely stay hydrated with any of these, because taking supplements, some of them cause your body to need water, to pull water in order to dilute or to process any of these. So you definitely need to stay hydrated. With that being said, I have not been taking any of these for the past year. I've given away my entire stock. I am trying to see what my body will look like a couple of years without taking any protein, with just implementing food, looking at my carbs, tracking everything, raising my protein levels, checking out my fat levels, just doing that, trying to see, like, I used to spend $350 a month on supplements. That's how serious I am. I have a stock shelf in my storage room where I have 4 shelves that used to be, because I didn't want to go without supplements, right? So it would be jugs of protein, jugs of BCAAs, jugs of pre-workout, creatine, HMB, just all of this stuff, so I can make sure I stayed on track. You talk about 300 to 350 ordering every month. And that's in case I missed a month, it wouldn't have to matter because I had it stocked up. If supplements, look, supplement facts, supplement facts, supplement facts, supplement facts, supplement facts. You know what the word supplement means, right? Supplement, your supplementation of something. If you're lacking it, if you're unable to obtain it, if you properly eat the food you need, you should be able to be in a zone or in a condition that your body needs to build naturally, period. If you're not, you need to consult your physician or your nutritionist and then go from there. Nothing wrong with taking branched-chain amino acids. Creatine, I would say a little bit more in the yellow. These, I would say a little bit more in the yellow. There are some other supplements that I'd say red. I would say there are definitely some other supplements that I will put in those zones. Protein in the green, okay? BCAAs, EAs in the green, but everything's in moderation. Everything in moderation. I'm so serious when I say that. Everything in moderation, all right? So with that being said, I hope this rant helps you. I started eating, saw a commercial, that damn Nugenix commercial. I said, you know what? I'm going to make this video because I think too many people are being scammed or spending umpteenth amounts of money on supplements when they really don't need them, or they're really not in a condition to properly benefit from them. So with that being said, you know what I always say, let's build together, let's be safe, or be safe, let's build together, peace.